Hi friends, once again welcome to my channel Dr. Great. So in today's video we are going to see about the body fluids and circulation and the constituents of blood and its circulation. So both are same, both the topics are same. The difference is that when we see about the body fluids and circulation, it is a chapter for the NEET UG bio preparation, whereas the constituents of blood in circulation is a topic or a chapter that we study deeply in the medical field. So we are going to cover both of this in this video, and this video is divided into parts, like into 2 parts or 4 parts. This is the first part of the topic, and we will clearly take each and every topic or the subtopic in this video. So without wasting any time, let's move to the topic. So in this video we will learn about what is blood, the definition or the simple understanding of blood, the constituents of the blood in detail, that is the plasma and the formed elements, and at last we will conclude the whole video. So this is the blood that is on the top left corner, and this is the lymph. So the lymph looks whitish in color and the blood looks reddish in color. So the blood is the most commonly used body fluid, or most commonly, we can say, instead of this used, we can say present body fluid. So the whole body that is present inside us is full of this blood, or the most of the percentage is the blood that is present in our body. And the lymph is a fluid that transports certain substances. That is, in the upcoming videos we will learn more about it, but for now we can just see that the lymph transports certain substances. It's also called as the tissue fluids, or it transports from the lymph nodes to the capillaries, the tissue fluids from the lymph nodes to the capillaries. But before moving on further, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to receive the latest updates. So the constituents of the blood can be divided into this many parts that are present here, and going deeply we can say that the blood consists of 3 constituents, that is the fluid matrix, or you can say the water, that constitutes to the most, then the plasma, then the formed elements. So this plasma is again having 2 constituents, the water, which constitutes for 90 to 92%, and the proteins, or the plasma proteins we call it. So the proteins constitutes for 6 to 8% of the plasma, and these proteins are of 3 types, that is the fibrinogen, the globulin, and the albumin. We will study in detail about this in the upcoming slides. And if we see the formed elements are having 3 constituents, that is the RBC, the WBC, and the platelets. We can say that these are the 3 forms of the formed elements. The RBCs are the red blood cells, which contain the hemoglobin, and which we will be seeing in the upcoming slides. The WBCs are divided into 2 divisions, that is the agranulocytes and the granulocytes. So basically these are the types of cells, the granulocytes and the agranulocytes types, that is the neutrophils, the eosinophils, and the basophils. Whereas the agranulocytes are the monocytes and the lymphocytes, and these lymphocytes are also of the B type or the T type, which we will be studying deeply. And the platelets, we all know they are also called as thrombocytes. So they are also called as thrombocytes. So this is how the blood can be divided into various constituents. Let us now see about each of them in detail. So first of all, coming to plasma. So plasma is a straw colored fluid, or we can say a pale yellow color. So pale yellow color fluid, and it's a viscous fluid. So what do you mean by viscous? So viscous fluid means a sticky and a thick fluid which has a consistency between a thick solid and a liquid. So it's a thick and a sticky fluid. And the plasma is divided into 3 forms, and the plasma looks like this. This is the straw colored or the pale yellow colored fluid. So coming here, the plasma is of three forms or three types: the fibrinogen, the globulins, and the albumins. So the main functions that we have to remember are that the fibrinogen is having the clotting and coagulation factors of the blood. So the fibrinogen controls the clotting and the coagulation of blood, and the globulins are having the function of the mechanism of defense, that is the defense mechanism, and the albumins maintain the osmotic balance of the cells. So these are the main three functions of the three types of the plasma. And if we see about the plasma in more detail, we can see that the small amounts of sodium, calcium, magnesium, and hydrogen carbonates and chlorides are present in them, in the plasma, in the small amounts. And the glucose, amino acid, lipids in plasma are always in small amounts or in temporary amounts. And the coagulation and clotting factors are always present in plasma. Whenever you think of plasma, just think one thing, that is the coagulation of clotting factors. And the one thing that we have to always keep in mind is that the plasma without the clotting factors or minus the clotting factors or deprived of the clotting factors is serum. So serum, what we are seeing now, is the plasma which does not have the clotting factors. So coming to the erythrocytes are also called as the RBCs or the red blood cells. And it is the most abundant cell in the blood, that is the most numerous cells are the erythrocytes or the RBCs in the blood. And the count is from 5 million to 5.5 million RBCs per millimeter cube of blood. So this value is a very important thing in the NEET because they often ask this. And the third point is the formation. So the erythrocytes are formed in the bone marrow. So the bone marrow is the place where the formation of erythrocytes takes place. And mainly the erythrocytes do not have a nucleus. So in NEET they may ask that name a cell which is devoid of nucleus or which does not have a nucleus, or nucleus is not present in it. So the answer will be erythrocytes, and they are biconcave. So biconcave means, I will show you, biconcave in mammals. And the fifth point is hemoglobin present in the erythrocytes, means they are the red color. So the red color to the RBCs is given by the hemoglobin, which are the iron containing complex proteins. And this is the diagram that I wanted to show you. Like this is the erythrocyte, and biconcave means like this, they're concave, like they're this concave like this also. They're concave, like this part is also concave and this part is also concave. Therefore, they form a concave shaped RBCs. So the RBCs are red colored, iron containing and concave shaped. And yes, this is what the meaning of biconcave is. And other points that cover are the amount of hemoglobin is 12 to 16 grams in 100 milliliters of blood. So 12 to 16 grams is the normal value for the hemoglobin present in the blood per 100 ml. And the transport of the oxygen is the main function of the hemoglobin. So hemoglobin has the value of 12 to 16 grams in 100 ml of blood, and its main function is the transport of oxygen in the body. So, and the average lifespan of RBCs, that is erythrocytes, is 120 days. And every 120 days, the RBCs are recycled, as the old RBCs, they go to the graveyard, that is spleen, they get destroyed, and the new RBCs are formed by the process of erythropoiesis, which we will be learning in the upcoming videos. But now the average lifespan of the RBCs is 120 days, and after 120 days, this RBC that is present in red color goes to the spleen and gets destroyed. And that is the reason why we call the spleen as the graveyard of the RBCs, because the RBCs get destroyed. They get destroyed in the spleen and they go to the graveyard, that is the spleen. Now, we are going to see about the leukocytes. The leukocytes are also called as WBCs, that is the white blood cells, and they are also called as the defense cells of the body. But they lack hemoglobin, and that is the reason that they look white. So, hemoglobin is not present, so the leukocytes are white in color. And they are nucleated, whereas the red blood cells are not nucleated. And the count is from 6,000 to 8,000 per millimeter cube of blood. And they are short-lived. The lifespan is short. They get destroyed quickly and form quickly. They get destroyed quickly and they have a shorter lifespan because they are defense cells and they need to be recycled every time because the pathogens are always getting advanced day by day. So this is the figure of the white blood cells. See, they are white in color. So they are white in color. The red blood cells, they are biconcave and they are red in color. And the platelets. So the platelets you can see, which we are going to study in the next slide. See, the WBCs were of two types, that is the granulocytes that had the granules in them and the agranulocytes. So coming to the granulocytes are of three types, that is the neutrophils, the eosinophils and the basophils. So the neutrophils are the most abundant of the granulocytes and they are about 60 to 65% in the WBCs. Then comes the basophils. They are the least abundant, that is the 0.5 to 1%. And again the basophils are of three types, that is the histamine, serotonin and heparin, and they show the inflammatory reactions. So the main work or the main function of the basophils is inflammation of the body whenever required during the invasion of the pathogens. And the third is the eosinophils, which are in medium range, that is 2 to 3%, and the main work or main function is the infection resistance, that is the allergic reactions. They cause the allergic reactions and they resist the infections in them. So these three come under the granulocytes. So coming to the agranulocytes, we see there are monocytes and the lymphocytes present here, and that too the lymphocytes are of two types, that is the B type and the T type. So here the lymphocytes and the monocytes. So coming to the lymphocytes, they are 20 to 25% in quantity and they are of two types, that is the B type and the T type, which have the immune response of the body. So lymphocytes means resistance or the defense mechanism to the body. They control the whole defense mechanism. That is the reason why they come under the white blood cells, because whenever any pathogen invades or any virus invades, they are first to act. They release some lymphocytes, some type, that is B or T type, I think so, but we will be discussing about this in the coming videos, so don't worry about that. And the monocytes, so monocytes along with the neutrophils that we studied in the granulocytes, they both combine and form 6 to 8%. And when they form 6 to 8%, like the main thing is they do not form 6 to 8% with the neutrophils. Actually the number, the quantity of the monocytes is when this monocyte with neutrophils, they both combine, they have the destroying function if the foreign organisms enter into the body. So this is the image where you can see the different types of cells of the WBCs, like what are their appearances or the morphology. You can see the monocyte here, the eosinophil, the basophils, the neutrophils and lymphocytes. Just have a glance at it. So now we have come to the platelets. So the platelets are called as thrombocytes and they occur from the megakaryocytes. So the platelets occur from the megakaryocytes. The megakaryocytes are the special cells in the bone marrow. So don't forget this point that megakaryocytes are the special cells present in bone marrow which form the platelets of the body. And the next is the count is from 1,50,000 to 3,50,000 per millimeter cube of blood. So what is the amount and per how much is the main thing. So keep reminding this thing that it's 1,50,000 to 3,50,000 per millimeter cube of blood. Then the function is the responsible for coagulation and clotting, because platelets, come on, platelets means clotting should come into your mind. It's easy, don't worry, we will be having more and more practice. So responsible for the coagulation and clotting of blood. So these platelets are called as thrombocytes. So thrombocytes, and they occur from the megakaryocytes, and the megakaryocytes are a special type of cells in bone, and they count from 1,50,000 to 3,50,000 per millimeter cube of blood, and they're responsible for the coagulation and clotting of the blood. So the appearance of this platelet is given in this image. So you can see here the platelets, how the platelets look. So with this, we complete today's topics. So in the next video, we will see the blood groups, the types of blood groups, how the blood groups are formed, and the coagulation of the blood, and the defects and the abnormalities caused due to the blood coagulation, or we can see the more deeper context about the blood groups and the human circulatory system, like the heart and how the blood is circulated in the body. So stay tuned for new updates, and thanks for watching this video, guys. Like the video, subscribe to the Dr. Great channel, and show your support to me, and share this video to everyone as much as possible. And if you have any suggestions, please put that down in the comment sections below. And once again, thank you all.